Welcome to the Belly to Belly podcast, where we explore in-person business-to-business marketing. This episode is brought to you by Meet, the company that helps international companies exhibit at U.S. trade shows. Check them out at meetroi.com.
I think we can start getting into maybe some of the specifics in Meet. So you've mentioned Google AdWords, you've mentioned a variety of other tools, but what are the sort of the major modes of digital marketing that an international company might employ?
So again, at the basic B2B level, and again, if we were talking about B2C or Britney Spears, she should be tweeting and Facebooking every day, right? But and I'm not saying B2B folks shouldn't be doing that, but it's more about how you do it than what you do and what your returns are and whether you spend money in advertising. So the major, sort of the biggest things, number one, organic SEO. And we'll talk about that in a minute and how it relates to inbound marketing. Because for B2B companies who really understand inbound marketing and execute it and live it and breathe it, they can crush it and they can own their market. Doesn't happen overnight. It's expensive. It's complicated. But SEO in its purest form, again, give me an example of a company who's a manufacturer or business service company that's coming into the United States. If they want to be found, and somebody types, photocopiers, what's the latest and greatest photocopier, they want to come up if they're a photocopier company. So being able to do that at SEO, number one. It's also long term. If you stop doing it, you will eventually begin to slide backwards. But I have clients who have been doing SEO now for 4, 5, 6 years, and the stuff they wrote 3 years ago was what's generating traffic today. It's still generating traffic. And you can continue long term to create a very horizontal net on the web. So people searching for who knows what. Get that. Number two, paid search. Google paid search. If you can turn it on tomorrow, okay, it takes a week to get approved and set up the right way, but very quickly you can turn it on. People say it's expensive, but again, if you're looking at it as a profit center and not a cost, the trackability of the tools today, we can track phone calls, we can track form fills, we can really track how many people clicked the ad, how many people saw the ad and didn't click, what did they do once they clicked on it. All these amazing tool sets exist now to be able to just get that information so you can track what's working and what's not working. So organic search, paid search, Facebook advertising, retargeting, remarketing, LinkedIn advertising. Again, you have to be smart about it. But with LinkedIn and Facebook, you get these demographic overlays. So you can say, I only want companies in New England that are over $2 million, that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can really have sort of the pick of who you're trying to target. It used to be in the early days, for those who are old enough to remember, just going to any website, there were credit card ads and just ads everywhere. There were very little controls over who saw what. Contextual display advertising, really important. It's really kind of cool how it works. Again, if you're in financial services and you're moving into the US, you can show your ads just on the Wall Street Journal, just on people who are looking for fix and flip loans. So they're reading about that. You're showing your ad specific to the people who would be interested in your product or service. So highly desirable. And then inbound marketing, which again, very complex, but that is also known as content marketing. And that's where you're just laying a huge foundation for different buyer personas at different points in their buying cycles. And you're just filling your website with pages and pages of content, answering questions by people who are specifically asking, what's the best camera equipment to buy these days? What is the best camera equipment for underwater photography? What is the best ball bearing manufacturer? How do I know which ball bearings are going to last the longest? Right? If your articles answer that, your stuff's going to float to the top. You're going to train Google that your stuff's important, and they're going to reward you by posting it more quickly and having it float to the top. And then, of course, all of this ties in not just to its native self, but to voice search as well, because everybody's just going, hey, Siri, stop. Right? But I mean, I missed that. All right.
Could you say it again?
No.
Okay.
So there's a real world sort of, that's how people are searching these days.
Gotcha. And so we started with the website as being sort of the primary asset, or at least the initial asset. Can we talk about sort of these modes and how they integrate with the website, or not, to sort of complement how this all works? Because obviously an integrated strategy is ultimately what you're going for, I would guess.
So I'm going to draw that for you.
Excellent.
And your viewers, because it's really simple, and people tend to way overthink this.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is so pre-PowerPoint.
I know. There's
yes,
the answer.
www.
Right there.
Got it.
www. That is your center of the universe. That is your website. And what you do is, if you do it the right way, you have all of these things that are driving traffic to the web. So that's your blog. That's your Facebook ads. You're not going to put your videos on Facebook. You could, but your video library is going to live on your website.
Sure.
And so everything you do, your LinkedIn profile, your offers, your paid search, your organic search, everything is going to drive traffic to this hub.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really important to make sure that your website is laid out in a manner where it speaks to all your buyer personas, which can be difficult for some people if they're serving multiple masters. Mm-hmm. So we got an IT firm that we're working with, and they're really great, and they sell to two different people. They sell to C-level executives, and they sell to directors of IT. Mm-hmm. The conversation they have with those two buyer personas is very different. In fact, the director of IT sees them as a threat because they're going to replace me. Actually, they do a remarkable augmentation, and they make the director of IT look like a hero. Mm-hmm. But if you don't know that, and you're director of IT, and I'm just trying to sell you on IT services, so you segment your audience, right? And on their homepage now, it says, I'm a C-level executive, or I'm a director of IT. You allow people to self-select. You also have to understand where they are in the buyer cycle. Are they ready to buy? Are they doing research? Or do they not even know what it is you do yet, right? So you've got to be having those conversations, since you don't know where they are in their journey when they go to your website at 2 a.m. with a hot cocoa in their bunny slippers, right? You have no control over that. You better make sure that you can connect with them pretty quickly. Right. So that segmentation on the website is very simple. It's the same thing. Another frequent sort of mistake we make is people will, a service company that offers an array of services will create paid search ads on Google that drive them to the home page of the website.
Yeah,
that ad should be driving directly to that service page within their website.
Thank you for joining us on today's podcast. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or we can be of any service. Like us, if you'd like to stay in the know on current episodes.